Welcome back to the podcast, where we dive into the fascinating and sometimes frustrating world of marketing, data, and the technology shaping our strategies. I'm your host, Dallin Need, video content manager at marketer.co, where we help brands tell better stories and reach their audiences more effectively. Today, we're not just talking about algorithms and targeting, we're pulling back the curtain on what happens when those very tools we trust make decisions we didn't expect and honestly didn't want. Our story comes from the trenches of a marketing team who thought they were doing everything right. They ran the tests, crunched the numbers, and leaned on the data. And then, out of nowhere, the data leaned back with a troubling revelation. What's the lesson here? Well, it's that sometimes the strategies designed to be fair and efficient can end up missing the mark entirely. So buckle up, because today we're digging into a case that's part cautionary tale, part moral dilemma, and 100% relevant for anyone navigating the tricky terrain of modern marketing. Let's talk about Artea, algorithms, and how to avoid letting your tech turn against you. Artea is a brand built on the promise of personalized marketing, striving to connect with its customers on a deeper level through data-driven strategies. Like many companies today, they leaned heavily on algorithms to guide their targeting decisions, aiming to deliver the right message to the right person at the right time. It's the kind of approach that feels almost foolproof. When the data says, go, you go. The marketing team at Artea was led by Eva, a sharp, ambitious manager with a knack for turning numbers into narratives. Eva believed in the power of A/B testing and data visualization to unearth insights no human could uncover alone. She championed the idea that algorithms weren't just tools, they were partners in crafting smarter campaigns. With the promise of skyrocketing ROI, Eva and her team launched a new initiative designed to refine their targeting strategy using advanced machine learning models. The stakes were high, but the initial results were thrilling. The tests showed clear patterns, pointing to audiences with high conversion potential. Eva and her team celebrated as the metrics painted a picture of success. But as the data kept rolling in, something strange started to emerge. At first, it was subtle. A small discrepancy here, an outlier there. The team brushed it off as noise in the system, confident in the algorithm's ability to self-correct. However, what they didn't realize was that the foundation of their strategy, those same algorithms they trusted implicitly, was quietly introducing a flaw into their marketing approach. Behind the scenes, the algorithm was making decisions that no one on the team had explicitly programmed but would soon become impossible to ignore. What seemed like a cutting-edge campaign was about to reveal a problem that data alone couldn't solve. The team's goal was simple: use data to optimize Artea's marketing efforts, ensuring every dollar spent was hyper-targeted for maximum return. They relied on A/B testing to fine-tune their campaigns, splitting audiences to compare which messages, designs, and offers resonated most effectively. The algorithm, their star player, analyzed vast datasets to identify the most promising customers, those with the highest likelihood of converting. At first, the results were exhilarating. Campaign A outperformed Campaign B by a noticeable margin, and the algorithm began sharpening its focus. It was a marketer's dream: fewer wasted impressions, higher click-through rates, and an enviable boost to the bottom line. Eva championed the success, noting how their data-driven strategy was light years ahead of the competition. But as the campaigns continued, the algorithm's efficiency became something of a double-edged sword. By design, the model zeroed in on the audiences that performed best in early testing, predominantly those from majority groups. Without realizing it, the team had trained the algorithm to favor these audiences, systematically excluding smaller, less represented groups. To the team, it looked like the algorithm was simply doubling down on what worked. Why waste resources on audiences that didn't convert as well? But the truth was more complicated. By optimizing for performance alone, the system was unintentionally leaving minority customers out of the picture entirely. When Eva finally noticed the pattern, She was stunned. On paper, the numbers still looked great, but the implications were impossible to ignore. The algorithm wasn't just optimizing, it was discriminating. It had become a silent gatekeeper, making decisions that no one had explicitly approved, but everyone was now responsible for. What had started as a straightforward exercise in targeting had revealed an uncomfortable truth. The quest for efficiency sometimes comes at a cost, and in this case, that cost was the exclusion of entire customer segments, raising questions that went far beyond the scope of marketing metrics. When the bias became undeniable, the team had to confront the uncomfortable reality of what their algorithm was doing. Initially, Eva and her colleagues defended their strategy, citing the results. Conversions were up, and the ROI was strong. "It's just the numbers," someone argued. "The data doesn't lie." But as they dug deeper, they realized the problem wasn't with the raw data. It was with how the algorithm interpreted it. The system had been trained on historical data that wasn't balanced across all demographics. In prioritizing efficiency, it inadvertently perpetuated patterns that excluded minority groups. What the team had assumed was an objective tool turned out to be anything but. The fallout was swift and tense. Internal meetings turned into heated debates. Should they abandon a system that had been driving impressive results? Could they afford to slow down and rethink their approach when competitors were also racing ahead? And perhaps the hardest question of all, what responsibility did they bear for the outcomes of a tool they didn't fully understand? Eva, to her credit, took the lead in addressing the issue. She proposed a series of changes, starting with rebalancing the data the algorithm used for training. "We can't keep optimizing in a vacuum," she said during one particularly charged meeting. "We're not just marketers, we're stewards of this brand, and this brand can't afford to alienate its customers." Still, the realization came with consequences. The team had to pause several campaigns to reevaluate their targeting strategies, which meant missed opportunities and some budgetary setbacks. Worse, news of the bias began to trickle through the company. Upper management was less concerned with the ethical implications and more focused on the potential for PR fallout. One executive bluntly stated, "If this hits the headlines, it'll cost us more than fixing it ever will." The situation revealed a deeper flaw: the company's reliance on technology without understanding its limitations. The algorithm wasn't malicious, it was following instructions. But without human oversight to check its impact, it had veered into dangerous territory. The lesson for Eva and her team was clear. Data is powerful but unchecked. It can also be dangerous. Faced with the dual pressures of resolving the bias and maintaining performance, Eva and her team had to find a way forward. They began by rethinking their approach to targeting. Instead of relying solely on the algorithm to make decisions, they implemented a set of guardrails, manual checks and balances to ensure the system wasn't unintentionally favoring one group over another. One of the first steps was to diversify the data used to train the algorithm. They worked with external consultants to identify gaps in their data set and intentionally included more representation from minority groups. This wasn't an overnight fix. It took weeks of testing and recalibration to ensure the changes didn't inadvertently skew the results in a new direction. They also introduced fairness metrics to their reporting. Beyond measuring ROI and conversion rates, they began tracking how campaigns impacted different customer segments. It wasn't enough to drive results. Those results had to align with Artea's values of inclusivity and equity. But perhaps the most significant change came from a cultural shift within the team. Eva led workshops to educate her colleagues about algorithmic bias and the importance of ethical marketing. At one point, she admitted to the team, "We didn't fail because we used an algorithm. We failed because we trusted it too much." That vulnerability helped rally the team around the idea that technology is a tool, not a solution. The changes weren't without trade-offs. Performance initially dipped as the team adjusted to the new processes, and some executives grumbled about the added complexity. But the results were worth it. Campaigns began reaching a broader audience, and customer feedback reflected a positive shift in perception. Artea wasn't just seen as a brand that delivered results, it was becoming one that customers trusted. Ultimately, Eva's leadership turned a potential PR nightmare into a defining moment for the company. The experience underscored a critical lesson for marketers everywhere. Data is only as good as the intent behind it. When wielded responsibly, it can drive not just profit, but progress. And in an industry obsessed with efficiency, sometimes the most impactful decision is to slow down and ask the hard questions. Looking back, the Artea case serves as a powerful reminder of the double-edged nature of data and technology in marketing. The algorithm itself wasn't the villain. It did exactly what it was designed to do: optimize. The real problem lay in the blind faith the team placed in it, coupled with a lack of oversight to catch unintended consequences. For Eva, this experience was transformative. It pushed her to redefine what success looked like, not just in numbers but in values. She became a vocal advocate for ethical marketing practices, sharing Artea's story with industry peers and encouraging others to implement similar safeguards in their own strategies. Her ability to navigate the crisis and turn it into an opportunity for growth solidified her reputation as a leader who could balance results with responsibility. The company, too, came out stronger in the long run. While there were initial losses, both financial and reputational, the changes ultimately positioned Artea as a forward-thinking brand that cared about more than just its bottom line. Customers took notice, and so did the industry. What started as a moment of reckoning became a catalyst for innovation, as the company doubled down on its commitment to fairness and inclusivity. For marketers and business leaders, Artea's story offers a blueprint for navigating similar challenges. First, recognize that data is never neutral. It reflects the biases of the systems and people that create it. Second, build checks and balances into your processes to catch issues before they spiral out of control. And finally, embrace transparency and accountability, even when it's uncomfortable. As for the team at Artea, they emerged not just as better marketers, but as better stewards of their brand. Their journey is a testament to the power of asking hard questions, even when the answers might be inconvenient. Because in the end, the real measure of success isn't just how much you grow, it's how you grow and who you bring along for the ride. The aftermath of Artea's journey left a lasting impact, not only on the company, but also on the marketing industry as a whole. Eva's willingness to confront uncomfortable truths and implement change sparked a broader conversation about the ethical use of algorithms in business. Competitors, once quietly observing from the sidelines, began reassessing their own practices, wary of falling into the same trap. Artea's leadership used this turning point to reposition the company's brand narrative. They launched a new campaign focused on inclusivity, openly addressing their commitment to ensuring all customers felt seen and valued. It was a bold move, but it resonated with an audience increasingly wary of faceless corporations driven solely by profit. Internally, the team became a model for how to balance data-driven decision-making with human oversight. They established an ethics board tasked with reviewing future marketing strategies to prevent similar issues. It wasn't just about avoiding bad press, it was about embedding a culture of responsibility and care into every layer of the organization. For Eva, the experience cemented her belief that true innovation doesn't just solve problems, it anticipates and prevents them. She often spoke about the importance of humility in leadership, emphasizing that no tool, no matter how advanced, can replace the need for critical thinking and ethical consideration. The lessons from Artea's story extend far beyond the walls of their marketing department. In a world increasingly reliant on algorithms, it's a cautionary tale for businesses across industries. It's a reminder that progress must be paired with purpose, and that the power of technology should always be guided by the values of the people who use it. As Artea looked toward the future, the company embraced its role as a trailblazer for ethical marketing. And while the path forward wasn't always easy, they had learned one invaluable lesson. Doing the right thing isn't just good for business. It's the only way to build a brand that lasts. In the wake of Artea's transformation, the company's story became a case study in resilience and responsibility. Ava, who had steered the ship through stormy waters, often reflected on how close the team had come to losing sight of their core values in the pursuit of efficiency. At the end of the day, marketing isn't just about what works, it's about who it works for, she would say in interviews, reminding others in the industry that the human element should never be overlooked in data-driven decisions. One of the lasting changes at Artea was the deepened sense of accountability within the team. No longer did the marketing department act as a siloed entity focused solely on performance metrics. They became advocates for the broader organization's mission and values. They regularly consulted with other departments, ensuring that the customer experience across all touchpoints aligned with their commitment to fairness and inclusivity. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of Artea's journey was the lasting impact it had on the industry at large. As word spread about the company's ethical shift, competitors took notice, and many began rethinking their own reliance on algorithms, some even forming similar oversight boards to examine their marketing practices. Ethical marketing wasn't just a niche concern anymore, it was becoming a standard. And it wasn't just about public relations or compliance, it was a matter of good business. As Artea recalibrated its marketing strategies, it found that their campaigns resonated more deeply with customers. People didn't just want good deals, they wanted to know that brands shared their values. Artea had not only survived a critical test, but had turned it into an opportunity to strengthen its relationship with its audience. The lessons from Artea's journey are clear. In the race for better performance, businesses must remember that data doesn't operate in a vacuum. It impacts people. Algorithms, no matter how sophisticated, cannot replace the need for empathy, ethics, and oversight. Marketing must serve the interests of all customers, not just those who fit the mold of efficiency. If there's anything to take away from Artea's story, it's this. Building a brand that genuinely cares about its customers is the true measure of success in today's marketplace. By embracing these lessons, Artea emerged stronger, more transparent, and more connected to its audience than ever before. The road ahead would not be without challenges, but the team had learned how to navigate them with integrity, proving that the true power of marketing lies not in who it excludes, but in who it includes. As Artea's journey shows us, the intersection of technology and marketing is a powerful force, but it comes with immense responsibility. The company learned that while algorithms can optimize performance, they must never be relied upon without thoughtful human oversight. By taking the time to address bias and recalibrate their approach, they not only salvaged their brand reputation, but built a stronger, more inclusive connection with their audience. For all the businesses and marketers out there, the takeaway is clear. Success isn't just about data-driven efficiency. It's about understanding the impact of your decisions on all of your customers. Ethical marketing, inclusivity, and transparency aren't just buzzwords. They're essential for long-term growth and trust. At Marketer.co, we're committed to helping brands navigate the complexities of digital marketing with integrity and innovation. If you're looking to level up your marketing strategies while staying true to your values, let's talk. Reach out today to discover how we can help you optimize your marketing campaigns while keeping your brand's commitment to fairness and inclusivity at the forefront. Together, we can drive results that not only work, but work for everyone. Contact us now to start building a brand that stands for something greater.